Heather, thank you so much for being here. It's so great to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I can't believe it. Like, we made these plans months upon months upon months ago. I think it was back in January, right?
It was when I saw you at Inman. Yeah, we had breakfast. Yeah. It was so great.
Been looking forward to this for a long time. So
me too. Awesome. Well, so I want to just go ahead and dig in. Like, first and foremost, you are celebrating a milestone in the real estate space. You got your license 20 years ago this month. And over that time, you've done a variety of things. You've written, you've sold, you've managed, you've, worked in the tech space. You've done so many different things. Can you just sort of like bring us up to speed, share your background, and let us know how you got to where you are right now?
Absolutely. It's been kind of a wild and exciting and completely unexpected career journey. I did not get into real estate until I was already in my 30s. And it was kind of not on a whim necessarily, but my husband was a PGA golf professional at the time at a club in Loudoun County, Virginia, which is where we've lived the entire time. And one of the members there was like, I think you would be really good at real estate. This is what I do. Come learn about this. And that's how I got in the business in 2004. And, it originally started out with the idea that, well, maybe if I just helped the members at the club a little bit, that would be, a fun thing for me to own and for this to be something that I was creating. And well, here we are 20 years later, and obviously that was not what it ended up being. So I think within the first couple of years, I had already stood up my blog, LocoMusings.com, Loudoun County Musings, and that was the spark that kicked everything off. My background's in journalism and public relations, so I just started writing about Loudoun County, and where that led to is this unbelievable journey of teaching other agents how to use content to bring clients to them. And that's, starting back in 2006, 2007, when we didn't necessarily have social media as a vehicle to introduce ourselves to people. So, there's been a tremendous amount of change over that time. And I took a job working at NAR, running digital and social strategy there for a couple of years, and then came back on the brokerage side of the space and worked as a brokerage executive for Century 21 Redwood, where my license was hung and is still hung because I'm still a broker. Got my broker's license along the way, and spent a lot of years working with emerging prop tech companies, helping them figure out how to bring product, how to shape product, how to best fit the needs of the industry. And that led to me taking a full-time role with Pearl Certification, running their real estate division, because they needed someone on staff that could speak real estate. So, and I think the overarching theme of all of it that really started when I started my blog was this idea of transparency and authenticity in real estate. And and I think that's sort of been the guiding principle the whole way through. And it's morphed from how can I provide transparency and authenticity to my clients to how can I do that for agents, for realtors, for, and then how can we do this for the industry in a way that, kind of helps bring the industry along and really highlights the way, the hard work that agents do as part of this.
As part of your role here at Pearl. Yeah. So first of all, congratulations. And your talent. I mean, I just love how you've been able to take your background, your talent, and not simply be a realtor, but also influence and the industry in the different ways that you have as, a content creator, a teacher of content creating, NAR, what you've done at NAR, what you did at Redwood, all the different prop tech companies that you have, consulted for. And I love what you say about transparency and authenticity as sort of your guiding force, because that's what we're really up against right now. There's been so much change. But before we get into that, I would love your perspective on the last 20 years, because I think you were in the forefront of this, this transparency idea, this content,
Right.
using content before people were really talking about it. What do you feel from your perspective are the most significant changes you've seen since you came into the business 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that have changed a lot, and there's some things that haven't changed at all. And I think that the pieces that haven't changed at all are the way that agents interact with their clients. And the pieces that have changed are the availability of information for consumers to get to on their own accord. And the marriage of those two things, the way that agents provide value, the way that agents engage with their client base, and then the client base having a little bit more agency of their own to do research and contribute to the conversation has kind of changed things over time. So now we have, agents do so very much on behalf of their clients, and they do it in a way that makes it seem like minimal impact on the client, right? We want it to be a smooth transaction. We want it to not be painful. We want it to be a delightful experience. And so as agents, there's lots of things that we do that we don't necessarily make visible to the client because we don't want to stress them out in the course of the process. And because I think agents are a victim of their own success in a way, because they're so good at smoothing the road in front of their clients that the clients don't even know that the road has been smoothed. And that is the piece that is not visible to the public. And that's the part that we have to figure out how to shine a light on without stressing clients out at the same time.
Oh my God. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because, well, first of all, what are some of those behind the scenes things that agents do? Let's just shine a light on it. Like, what are some of those things?
Oh my gosh. I mean, and I think that's probably the hard question to answer, right? Because if you put 100 agents in a room and ask them, what are the things that you do that you don't want your clients to ever have to worry about? I could speak to specific examples from my own career where, we have a grieving widower with an entire house full of memories who says, help me. We've taken everything out of the house that is important to us to keep. Please make the rest of it go away.
Yes.
So that looks like standing in a master bedroom closet, boxing up a late wife's clothing to donate to charity, and finding her wedding suit in the closet and setting it aside for them because that was something that got missed. Right. That's an everyday, not an everyday occurrence, but that type of situation of stepping in and just getting it done.
Yes.
Is what agents do. That's dealing with divorce situations, dealing with estate situations, managing the combination of personalities that are involved and the varying needs, because it's not cut and paste. Every single group, couple or single client or family grouping that you're working with along the way has different motivations and different needs. Price may not be the most important thing. And, so the one size fits all definition of what an agent does is just a disservice.
It is. And instead there's another perception of agents. So, in your experience, how do clients typically perceive real estate agents in general?
Yeah, I think I have been fortunate enough in my own career, and my husband runs the real estate business now. I haven't transacted real estate in probably 12 years, although I do keep my license active and do an occasional open house and open up a door or help with a contract here or there. But our own business, we are fortunate enough that most clients are introduced to us via the content that we've created. So there's already an understanding there of the level of service that gets provided, what it means to do business with the local real estate team, right? So that I'm sort of fortunate and sort of insulated on having spent a lot of time writing and creating content that delivers value proposition. I think for real estate agents writ large, the entirety of the industry, the hard part is how to tell that story, right?
Yeah.
Of exactly what you do in your business and what you provide. Because if the prevailing wisdom is that finding the house is the hard part, that's the hurdle. That's the hurdle to jump over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a limited inventory that finding the house can be the hard part, but agents do so much more to manage the transaction, to line the pieces up. And it's like the duck on the water where the water looks really calm and you can't see
what's going on underneath.
Paddling underneath. Yeah.
So, I feel like the perception of real estate agents is that they're a step above used car salesmen, right?
Yep.
Like they're uber salesy. They're all about the money. They're being overpaid. And that's becoming very apparent with all of the lawsuits that are out there at this point. Yeah. And I agree with you that all of that is doing a disservice to our agency or to our industry. Mm-hmm. However, there are amazing, professional, hardworking real estate professionals out there like you and your husband and your team. And you and I know many, many more in the industry. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're right. How do we, and this is honestly one of my visions or one of my biggest dreams or goals is how do I, in what I do every single day, raise the industry? Like, how can I, in my little slice of the world, help raise the industry? And I have an idea of how I do that. What are your thoughts? Like, how do we tell those stories? How do we uncover what's happening with the duck underneath the water? Like, how do we get this perception that real estate agents are no more than used car salesmen and bring it up so they're revered, respected, professional advisors? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I actually, if you go to my website, I have a video that I recorded talking just about that, about how real estate agents are so much more. And I think it dates all the way back to like 2009 because of the fiduciary duty piece, right? Agents are responsible for putting clients' needs first. Like, like at the end of the day, like that is the entirety of their job is to put clients' needs first. And I think that part is somewhat misunderstood. And there's probably some folks within the industry that maybe should move along and take a different job if they can't do that. But when we look at what we can do to help move the industry forward, help change the way that the public views the industry, I think the more that we can do to support agents in the way that they differentiate themselves, in the way that they show their professionalism, in the way that they layer on capabilities and services. And a lot of the things that I've done on the prop tech side has been, you have technology can play an incredible role if it's used properly and plugged into business systems properly to help amplify the good work that agents do. So I think the more that we can do to help shine a light on that professionalism, either through smarter technology, through integrations that make agents' jobs easier and make them more transparent to consumers, that help the collaboration piece between consumers and agents. Like those are the threads that I love to pull on every single day, because I think that, that is where, agents are asked to do so many different things and wear so many different hats. They're individual business owners, so they have to run their own marketing and run their own budgeting and run their own outreach and manage their day-to-day business, so wherever we can step in and make those pieces simpler. I think that's where that's where my focus has been in the last 10 years.
Yes. I love that. I love that. So, let's talk about like, looking ahead. What do you envision for the future of real estate? And, you know, how do you believe the role of the agent will change?
Oh goodness, that's like the $1 million question, right?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, I
Where's your
think that
baseball?
I know, right? You need a magic 8 ball or a crystal ball to help with it. I think that there's when the commission lawsuits, when the news cycles were particularly challenging. My husband got an email from a past client, and the email started with, "So I've been seeing some things in the news." Oof, right? Like instantly, like, oh no, where is this going? And I just wanted to check in to make sure that you're doing okay, because you're an incredible professional and people appreciate what you do. From a
Wow.
past client whom we hadn't spoken to in other than, pleasantries and keeping in touch and those types of things, like took it upon himself to reach out and say that. So I have this optimism that, gosh, some will, some won't, so what? Some people are going to forever see the value in working with a real professional. And some people are never going to see that value, and that's okay. And I think that the direction that our industry is taking, we're going to be able to have a better differentiation for consumers that don't see value, that want limited service, that want, a different playbook than the ones that see value in having a professional walk by their side. And I think, there's some places in the country where the contracts are already, listing contracts and purchase contracts are already structured for agency around those types of ideas. And maybe we have more consumers opting towards alternative compared to, I don't want to even say a forced perspective, but a more typical perspective, right, of buyer agency choices or listing agency choices. And I think that it's just going to be a more transparent process. I don't see the role of the agent changing tremendously. I just see the maybe the manner of engagement may adjust to best fit consumers and give them more choice.
I love that. And I love, your approach to it, which is optimism. You said the word optimism, and I agree with you. I think you said it earlier, like let the ones who probably shouldn't be in the business leave the business.
Move along.
Yes. And allow the ones who do have the integrity, who do believe in what they're doing is having an impact, which it is, and continuing to support them the way that we need to, so that we can imagine if we can be fully transparent and fully authentic, how much impact we could have, and how revered the agent will become. It's going to happen.
Yes.
With you in this world, Heather, it'll happen.
Well, I will always keep doing my part. I think, hitting so it'll be 20 years on June 30th, which has caused a lot of, personal reflection, obviously.
Yeah.
But so at this point, I'm a lifer in the real estate industry, and it's a personal mission to leave a legacy. Right. And so, figuring out where I can be impactful in making a difference for this industry is where I'm coming from. I think it's kind of what shaped the pathway for me in the last 20 years and moving from role to role. I mean, it's almost nutty to look at my LinkedIn and see the list of different things that I've worked on, but I've had an absolute blast seeing the industry from a different perch in different ways. I've never worked for an MLS. That's the one place that I can say I haven't worn that hat. But outside of that, I've had the good fortune to see the industry from a lot of different places. And there's so much that agents do at the boots on the street level to make a difference in the lives of consumers. And, and that we need to make sure that that doesn't get lost, because that's what's at the heart of the beating heart of the whole industry is that interaction of where in a life process working with a consumer, the agent fits in. And, I think as long as the industry keeps that as the North Star, then we're going to be okay.
I could tell you're a writer.
Do I talk like a writer?
You're very poetic. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that. And it's so true. It's where does the agent fit in that intersection between the milestone of the client and the transaction, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's a choice of an agent. Where do you want to be in that place?
Yeah. Yeah. And every agent brings something slightly different to the table too, right? It's, I think that's having come into the industry and used my writing to find my place, right? Because my blog was written out of a time when the county that I lived in was the fastest growing county in the country. And there's no daily newspaper in the portion of the county that I live in. And so there wasn't anything that was speaking directly to consumers about the changes that were happening, roads going in, new construction, new home construction, schools being built. It was a really interesting time of change here in Loudoun. So I had like the benefit of speaking directly to a client base and pulling the types of clients that would work well with me to me. And, I think for agents being able to figure out what your fit is, right? Like, what are you offering that's different than, the person that sits across from you at the sales meeting on Tuesday morning, and being able to articulate that. I know that you do a really good job of helping agents identify that. But there's nothing wrong with owning, your own little corner of the universe and what you do well. 100%.
100%. Because you know what? At the end of the day, that's where the joy happens,
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to go there?
Yeah. Yep. I
hear you.
Yep.
So, excuse me, before we start to wrap up, you started to talk about this is a moment of reflection for you. What are some of the most memorable milestones or moments over the last 20 years for you?
Oh my gosh, that is such a great question. I think passing my broker's exam in 2018 was a big deal. That was not something that everybody has the opportunity to do. And I'm extremely proud of that. I've got the certificate hanging on the wall here
Nice.
next to my journalism degree, the two big moments in my life. Going out on my own to do my own consulting work was a big leap. And, I've had an absolute blast working with companies that are bringing things into the industry, right? Because to be able to put on an agent's hat and say, well, this is maybe how I would use this.
Yeah.
Or maybe what if you did it this way? Or maybe if you plugged it into this system, I think, those are a few moments along the way that I'm particularly proud of. The time at NAR was amazing too. I think that our friends that work in the association space don't get their flowers often enough. The amount of quiet work. I think they sort of suffer from the same feet paddling under the water syndrome that agents do for the work that they do to support agents. But yeah, it's this industry has gone through a lot of growth and change. I was still faxing contracts when I got started in '04, and there were folks still presenting contracts in person back then. So
Wow.
The digitalization of the real estate industry has kind of happened under my under my time
Yeah.
in the last 20 years. So, yeah, I just think it's amazing to see where we've come and how much further we can go to continue having an impact for clients. So,
Well, I love the heart that you have for the industry. We need more people like you in it. So I'm glad you're a lifer. I'm glad you're in it for the long haul. So what 3 things would you like to leave our community with today?
Well, number 1 is break the box. The box being like the traditional definition of success. I think that the beauty of the real estate industry is that no matter what you might hear from social media or anywhere else, you get to define your own success in this industry. And it's not necessarily numbers driven or production driven unless you want it to be. But there's no one right way to do it. And I think that's anybody that decides that they want to be a student of this industry and dig in and do the right thing by their clients has an opportunity to build a really incredible business. And so break the box and do it your own way. That would be
love it.
That would be one thing. I'm not sure that I can come up with 2 more exactly, other than just keep swimming, right? Like this industry goes through change constantly, and the folks that adapt and are able to see opportunity and hardship are the ones that are going to be just fine.
Yes. I love it. That's beautiful. Okay. Finish this sentence. Know, like, trust is.
Oh, know, like, trust is oh my gosh. Know, like, trust is the yardstick that I measure against to know if I've actually made an impact in somebody's life.
Oh my God. I just love it. It's my favorite question. I have never gotten the same answer.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
That is beautiful.
Oh my God. Heather, where can people find you?
So probably the easiest place to find me would be on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm pretty easily located there, and message me from there.
Okay.
I have a big, huge open heart and I love helping people. So hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's just been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
True honor. Yeah. And I adore you too.
Oh, absolutely. If you're listening, everyone, make sure to give Heather a follow. Make sure to connect with her on LinkedIn. She's absolutely amazing. She is a wealth of knowledge and she knows everybody in the industry. So if she doesn't have the answer, she will point you in the right direction. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Thanks so much. Ciao, everyone.